This 2024 election is so weird. You have to ask yourself, with all the technology and all of the resources and archiving ability that people have to be able to look back and to look at answers and to pay attention to patterns, you just have to ask yourself, why is it that Kamala Harris has such a difficult time navigating basic interviews and a basic conversation? I don't understand. The only thing that I could think of is that with Kamala Harris and other politicians and other people, many of these people have gotten by in life for the most part being inconsistency. They've gotten by in life with a lot of dishonesty. They've gotten by in life switching positions and saying one thing in one instance and then saying another thing in another instance. As a result of technology improving and people's archiving and receipt collecting abilities to be more accurate, now it's easier for people to be able to quickly recall when there are inconsistencies or people are not saying accurate information or not representing past positions in an appropriate way. As a result, a shift has occurred, and now these people have to be extremely cautious in how they respond because there is a consequence to their inconsistency. If you ask me, this 2024 election is a huge starting point of what will be an ongoing pattern of how people will now, as they always should have been, but now even more, get held to the fire for past inconsistencies. Because Kamala Harris, she just can't get her head out of water. She's getting held to account every time she gets in front of the microphone, which in my opinion is one of the reasons why her campaign team really claims to not really want her in front of a microphone, and why she has such a difficult time asking questions. She now actually has to think about the future implications of what she might say quickly before she gives an answer. And since she's lived her entire life and never had to do that, this is a new muscular activity for her. This is something that she has to develop a efficient and quick pattern of being able to do on the fly. And as you can see, she just doesn't have that ability. What we got here is a news clip from Fox, and this news clip from Fox highlights exactly that during the town hall. So let's take a look at this.
You just mentioned how difficult it was to understand what Kamala Harris's policy was.
Yeah.
Well, along those lines, here she goes trying to address flip-flops on the border wall. Watch.
Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occurred.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
But you do want to build.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't even need to go into the contradictions of that. Do we need to go into the contradictions of that?
Some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
So much to respond to Trump 2024 campaign. Senior advisor Danielle Alvarez joins me now. Danielle, what is the campaign's response to that inartful flip-flop right there?
You know, in order to fix the problem, voters have to fire Kamala Harris in November. Yesterday, she had an interview with Telemundo, that CNN town hall. She just looked tired. She looked run down. She really looks like she needs to take a break. And that's certainly what the American people want. That open border with millions of illegal immigrants pouring in, millions of fentanyl pouring in, over 300,000 missing children is squarely, borders are Kamala Harris's responsibility. And let's not forget to mention record inflation, our poor economy, and the chaos that we are seeing at home and abroad. And the reality is that last night on CNN, she spent more time giving non-answers. She spent more time focused on Donald Trump than the issues that she is responsible, her weakness.
Now, check this out. We've seen maybe 2 or 3 months of this campaign. And for the most part, the way that this campaign has dealt with issues and dealt with challenges are non-answers. Can you imagine 4 years of non-answers being the solution? 4 years of non-answers being a solution. See, the thing is, for the most part, is that this is her campaign, which means that she's running based on how she would, quote unquote, do things, right? So if she's running and her campaign is a reflection of her work ethic and of her strategic ability, what will the strategies be with her as the leader of the country? That's a question for you guys to let me know how you feel about in the comment section.
Her failure, her liberal agenda is responsible for over the last 4 years.
To be clear, before we move on, does the campaign, do you think that Kamala Harris at the end of the day ultimately wants to build a border wall, or is that just more pandering?
She absolutely does not. She does not want a secure border. Look at the 4 years of her track record, where they eliminated and signed executive orders to undo everything President had accomplished in order to secure our southern border. She absolutely does not. Just look at her track record. Right now, she is willing to say anything to hold on to power, but the American people will not fall for it.
Here's more from Kamala last night. Listen.
I mean, I've made many mistakes. And they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues. And I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Look, that answer was clearly
which is wild, because literally that is the complete opposite of what she presents as and what she does. Wow. And then she tried to do the reflex laughing thing, and that didn't work. Anderson Cooper just kind of sat there staring at her, looking like an AI assistant.
You make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues. And I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Look, that answer was clearly an affront to fluidity. I'll allow you to attack that if you'd like, but there's also a question in there. What issue is she well versed on, Danielle?
There's absolutely no issue she's well versed on. We just saw for over an hour on CNN, Kamala Harris refuse to answer a single question. And you know what? I will answer it for her much more succinctly. Her weaknesses are on the economy. Again, inflation, tie-breaking votes that sent us skyrocketing into inflation because of ridiculous spending of the Harris-Biden administration. An open border, fentanyl pouring in, missing children, war between Russia and Ukraine, an attack on Israel, a failed Afghanistan withdrawal. The American people know that Kamala Harris has weakness after weakness. She does not deserve the promotion that she is asking for, and only President Donald Trump can fix the 4 years of devastation that Kamala Harris has caused.
Over the weekend, the Democrats took a moment away from their Trump is Hitler narrative to say, Trump is struggling mentally and he's tired. But after 48, 72 hours of that not working, they're back to Hitler. They say he wants unchecked power. Listen.
And we know that a second Trump term would mean unchecked power with no guardrails to hold him back. That's just.
But this is somebody who wants unchecked power. We do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails. America's ready to turn.
Now, we got to shout out to Fox News and shout out to Barack Obama. Fox News, Barack Obama is the quote unquote favorite quote unquote black man of a lot of black people, or of a lot of white people, right? Barack Obama is Fox News's favorite black person, allegedly, right? Barack Obama is white America's favorite black person, right? And we're going to get into that later on, even post-election. We're going to talk about that. But don't get it twisted, right? Fox News needs Barack Obama. Fox News needs Kamala Harris. People like them are their favorite black avatars. They need these people in order to stay in business. And they need these people in order to continue to push their false narrative. And we're going to, unfortunately for them, destroy that.
Turn the page.
So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power.
All of this on the heels of that hit piece out of The Atlantic. So, Danielle, how does the Trump campaign counter what appears to be the Democrats and Kamala Harris's closing arguments these final 12 days?
Kamala Harris is focused on Donald Trump, and President Donald J. Trump is focused on the American people. You have seen it not only in his 4 years in the White House, where we had a humming economy, where we had unleashed American energy, unleashed the American worker, but you've seen him talk about the issues that matter most to voters. And again, voters have told us that that's inflation. Voters have told us that that's the economy. Voters have told us that that's securing our southern border. And Donald Trump is focused on those issues in the last 2 weeks of this campaign cycle. And again, Americans know that President Donald Trump is the only one that can restore America to greatness. Our closing argument is so different than theirs. They are throwing everything they can at the wall to see what sticks because Kamala Harris is floundering and she has absolutely an abysmal record to run on. And she cannot contrast President Donald Trump, who had our country, it was so successful. Sure. Americans were thriving in his economy. And that is what our campaign is focused on. And President Donald Trump is focused on as we head towards November.
Danielle Alvarez, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, so there's that. And, you know, again, it's interesting, right? I wouldn't disagree with their critiques of Kamala Harris. I don't think that most people would. What you see with the Kamala Harris campaign is literally just, they're just shooting in the air. They're just throwing Hail Mary passes all over the place. And as time goes on, the chances of her winning decrease. They decrease at very high rates. Anytime she gets in front of a camera, it's never a viral moment for a good thing. It's not even a question. When it comes to Trump, there's debates about his quote unquote viral moments. He's had some good and he's had some bad, right? There's debates about them. However, the opinion for the most part is almost always unanimous that anytime Kamala Harris gets in front of the camera or anytime she says something independent without somebody holding her hand or scripting it for her, it's a train wreck. And that matters. And people pay attention to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash that like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right, peace.